started. It's 8:30. It's Tuesday. I normally take a break during half term, but I didn't today. I'm here for you guys. Auntie Estella, mwah, love ya, love ya, love ya. Always first, always here. Welcome everybody into the room. Welcome to our 8:30 Let's Talk Education Live. I know why you're here. I know why you're here. I know what you want to hear me talk about. I know why you're here, guys. I know why you're here. Tag your friends. Get your friends in the room. We're going to get this conversation started. Let me kick it off and give you the title. The title is African Caribbean girls are 3 times more likely to be excluded compared to their white counterparts. That's what we'll be talking about this evening. You are going to hear my unadulterated, honest view on that article that came out from Nadine White earlier this week. I did a reel on it, and I'm going to be doing a live on it now. But before we do, I want to make sure everybody in the room has downloaded this book. If you have a child in secondary school, or you're going to be having a child in secondary school, please make sure you go and get this book. It's absolutely free. The link is in the bio. I repeat, the link is in the bio. More Education's Essential Guide to Understanding Secondary School. Everything you need to know of how to navigate the secondary school system is right here. Link in bio. 3, absolutely free. It's from my gift, from me to you. Free ebook in the bio. So, without much further ado, let's get down to it. I'm going to repeat the title to you guys. I even made notes today. A lot of times I'm going like foot off my head, but I made notes. But before I get to my notes, can you make sure you are following us? I think we did 4 episodes. We did 4 episodes of the SLT podcast. That's myself and 3 other educational professionals. Check out the SLT podcast. We're on YouTube. You can go to our Instagram page and add. So those are our big ups and our sponsors for today. Hello to everybody who's joining. Make sure you're tagging friends and family in, because, guys, I'm going to be real with you lot today. Realer than real. Okay, so I did a post, I think it was Friday. Big up Nadine White, the race correspondent from The Independent. She done some amazing work. We actually sponsored her documentary, Barrel Children, late last year. So she's a More Education friend. She's a friend of ours, and she reported on. The title was African Caribbean girls are 3 times more likely to be excluded compared to their white counterparts. Now, that's a brilliant headline, and it grabbed my attention. I was like, whoa. Read the article, and I read a bit more into this. And I really took some time to kind of contemplate and think about this specifically in regards to Black Caribbean girls. And I thought about my own teaching career, yeah? Now, I'm going to say something quite controversial. I'm going to start this off. In my teaching career, pushing 20 years long, I would argue and I would say, black boys don't really like me. Black boys have never really liked me. I've always kind of noticed there's always been a slight disconnect, yeah? The best example I could probably give of boys from other races and backgrounds, like, them man a DM me now, Mr. Moore, But our black boys have never really... We're cool. Some of them are cool and they see me and this, that, and the other. But I'm talking about the ones who really stay in contact with me, check for me. There's always been I don't know if it's because of my demeanor, certain things, but I've always found boys from other backgrounds and races, and More Education has shown me this. Even when I look at the boys even the ones who follow me and keep up with me, I can only really think of one. Big yourself up, Paul. Yeah, who always still. There's been a handful, and I say that because in my teaching career, my unique bond connection, and it's maybe because I have a kind of favor girls over boys, has been black girls. Have been black girls. We have always formed a very unique bond. And what I've always tried to do as well, I've always tried to create a safe space for black children, but it tends to be the girls who have always gravitated towards that safe space. From the beginning of my teaching career, going back to, if I was thinking of two exceptions in regards to the boys, when I teach in all boys school. So when I was at John Kelly Boys, 2007, me and them boys were cool. When I was at Ignatius, big up my boys from Ignatius. I'm not going to leave them out. But outside of that, in mixed schools, it's been black girls. When I go back to Capital City, that is like 2008 times. I remember my year 8, Mishka Sutherland. If she's ever out there and she's even listening, that was my girl. She was like my daughter. Yeah, my daughter. I remember, I never forget. I kind of left that school and went back about 2 years later. Should have been like year 10. And I went to visit and I just heard somebody scream to me down the long corridor, Mr. Moore! And she ran up and I admit I cried. Even thinking about it now, I cried. From Mishka, Parkview, Tereus, same again, my year 7 form tutor group, black girls. These are girls I have defended to the hill. No violation. Baylis, when I was at Baylis, if you know me, again, my form class, I always open the doors. Confidence and her crew, they were at the back of the class. They knew they had a safe space. They knew Mr. Moore had them. They knew it. They knew it. Even thinking about it now, I'm getting emotional. Yeah, because I knew and I know that our black girls haven't and don't always have safe spaces. And as a form tutor and as a teacher, it's something I always try to create. It was the same model everywhere I went. I didn't go and integrate. I didn't integrate greatly in the staff rooms. I'd always have my dinner at my desk in my room. I'd leave my room door open and my tutees could come and at the back while I sit at my desk. And that was a safe space for my girls. So, and you would have heard me speak about this trilogy. They know who they are. I speak about them all the time because they're my family. We're actually still in a WhatsApp group called Family. That's when I went to Winchmore. I had Grace, Renika, and Ebony. They're my girls. They're my girls. I don't think you understand. They are my girls. Yeah? So much so that we all went together. We all went to church together on New Year's Eve. They're my family. And it started off, I wasn't even their form tutor. They were outside my room. I've probably told this story numerous times. They were outside my room making up noise. And I stepped outside and I said, well, I'll make up so much noise for behave. And they ended up coming in and slowly today that every lunchtime they would find themselves, I would be at my desk. They had a safe space in my classroom because I am very aware for the years I've been teaching, black girls don't always have safe spaces in educational institutions. I know this. Yeah. I still get the calls. I still get the calls from my girls going all the way back. Sir, I've got a job interview, blah, 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 blah. Sir, pregnant, Sir, To this day, I still get the calls. I get the calls. I get the DMs. I get the this, that, and the other. I still get them from our girls, from my girls. So I wanted to kind of precursor my history in education, what I have experienced, yeah? To them, I am the miserable uncle, yeah? I am that miserable uncle who will always be there for you and always back you, yeah? That is basically, they know, they get bored of me and tired of me, but they know. However, even when I look at More Education was started. The genesis of More Education was a black girl who came into my room crying. I've said this before, I say it again. A black girl who came into my room crying. The reason she was crying is because her English teacher didn't believe in her. And she thought she was going to fail because this teacher told her lies and told her she wasn't going to make it. And she said, "Sir, do you tutor?" And I said, "No." She begged me. She said, "Please, sir, please, please." I said, "Okay. If you get another friend," I was tutoring 2 students at the time, "we'll get together and we'll start." That's how More Education started in 2016. It was a black girl. That's why we're here. That's why we have ebooks. That's why we have courses. That's why it all started with her. A graduation photo, university graduation photo sits on my mantelpiece, my family. I've seen and experienced the discrimination that black girls have had to go through. Again, that's why I've always created that safe space. A lot of those girls would go around and say, "Mr. Moore's my uncle." They lie because they knew by saying that Mr. Moore is my uncle, they had a layer of protection. I've seen it. They've come to my class telling me what they've been through in classes, the kind of discrimination they've received. I've seen it. I always remember it's one story, and this is, I think, Grace, Ebony, Renika, the crew, and maybe a few other people. Tori might have been there, but I want to say those 3 were definitely there. And a teacher was coming to teach in my classroom. So I had my classroom, I had a free period, and the teacher came in. And she walked in, she goes, "Oh, is it you and your little gang, yeah?" Typical teacher. She had a cheek to call us a gang. Simply because the girls would spend their time in my room at lunch because they felt safe there. And that's in front of me. Those are the things that I said with me there. I didn't last very long in that school. Okay. But I want to highlight something that was said in that article. And it made me think. It spoke very specifically about Caribbean girls. It was very specific about Caribbean girls. It made me think 2 things based on my teaching experience. Because in the comments, you can go back and look at the comments. Better people were commenting, yeah, it's because of this, it's because of that. And a lot of the time, racism came up. And there was one person who said, "Hold on. It clearly says Caribbean girls. It doesn't say black girls. It says Caribbean girls." Nobody addressed it. Now, I asked myself 2 questions. I said, does the average profile of a teacher, and I say the average profile of a teacher in the UK is probably a white, middle-class lady, probably there or thereabouts my age, so late 30s, early 40s. Yeah. Probably didn't grow up in London. Yeah. Who's coming to teach. I've taught all my life with those people because I'm an English teacher and I'm in the English department. Do I think that the average profile of a teacher can tell the difference between a black Caribbean girl and a black African girl? I hate the term black African, but I'll use it in this term. Does the average teacher profile, can she tell the difference, because it's usually a woman, between a black African girl and a black Caribbean girl? Because if it's racist, everybody would be slated the same. But I don't think, especially speaking to these people, I remember I still have to speak and work and so on and so forth. They don't know the difference. I don't even think they know there's a difference. I believe that some of them, because there are some people that actually believe Jamaica is in Africa. So I'm saying, racism. That's a bit of a lazy analysis. That's a little bit of a very lazy analysis. That's all. I'll stop there. The second thing I asked myself is, what is a black Caribbean girl and what does that mean in 2024? What is a Caribbean girl? What is a black Caribbean girl in 2024? What does that even mean? What does that mean? Like, what does that even mean? And the reason I say that is because the title Black Caribbean Girl implies and kind of suggests certain things. It implies and suggests certain things. It implies like a geographical and cultural understanding of what that potentially means to be Caribbean. Yeah. Now, the vast majority of teenagers today, which would be Gen Zs, yeah, some alphas, make sure you understand the difference between the two and what they mean. Yeah. So we're talking about children between the ages of 11 and 15, 16, yeah? Caribbean children. I would argue the vast majority of them have very, very little understanding of Caribbean culture. Very, very little understanding of what that means. Their household and in their yard, yeah, where them come from, yeah, are traditional Caribbean views, ideas, and concepts solid within their home? I would say no. They're not. They're definitely not. Most of them have probably never been to the country their grandparents, because usually not, like mostly their parents are born here. Very, very few pockets of the UK you're still gonna have first gen children. Very few. So it's usually second gen or third gen. So sometimes even fourth. So your grandmother may have come from that country. So your grandmother or your grandparents may be children of the Windrush. Or it may even be your great grandparents are Jamaican. You've never been back. You've never been back to Grenada. You've never been back to Trinidad. You've never been back. You have very limited cultural connection. A very, very limited cultural connection. But yet still you're termed as Caribbean. I've seen statistics where children of mixed heritage, yeah? Children of mixed heritage come under the banner of Caribbean. And oftentimes it's where your dad may be of Caribbean descent and your mum is not. And you don't necessarily grow up with your dad, but you're being termed Caribbean. It's a very, very tricky term. And the reason why I speak about are they actually Caribbean is because, and it's interesting, I literally just come off of a call with a Jamaican teacher, just one of our teachers. I'm going to be specific to Jamaica, but I could extrapolate this across the Caribbean. Caribbean people tend to be what we call small c conservative. Christians. And when we speak about Christianity, we speak about church-going people have conservative ideas and views. So that's what I was raised on. That's how I was raised. Things like respecting your elders, things like carrying yourself in a certain way. In a traditional Jamaican Caribbean home, yeah, remember where I went to school? Those things are standard. Those things are standard. So when we're going to kind of throw the racism and another word that came up several times was adultification. Let me tell you this straight. Let me not even play with you lot anymore, yeah? Last week I was at a school. Yeah, last week I was at my school. And we are having an issue around uniform policy. And the issue is with lashes. I repeat, the issue is with lashes. We've sent letters home to parents, yeah? Children for health and safety cannot come in, girls, but children cannot come in with these lashes. If they do, they'll be asked to take them off at the door or they have to go home. A girl looked, we were talking about GCSEs and planning and he said, you missed your mocks. And she looked me stone cold in the face and she said, yes, I missed my mocks because I had on lashes. I said, but why did you have on lashes? It's not part of the uniform policy. She said it was my birthday and I wanted to look good for my birthday. I said, yeah, but God spare life, you'll have a birthday next year. I don't care. I looked at her, I said, do you know who you're talking to? She goes, I know, sir, but in the last 10 days, I've had 4 incidents of students, girls with lashes. Now, where I come from, I appreciate, I'm a dinosaur, yeah? I come from this old traditional Caribbean perspective. I have seen a marked difference from the beginning of my tenure as a teacher to now between how our girls, specifically people who would be deemed as Black Caribbean girls, how they conduct themselves, and their behavior. And I'm not the only one. I'm probably the only teacher who's going to come out and say it. So I spoke to bare teachers and they're all saying the same thing. They're all saying the same thing. I am not lying. I'm happy for you to come for me. But they're all saying the same thing. How the hell are you sending your child? I understand lashes to be like for special occasions or if you're going out or if there's a wedding or something like that. Lashes. Who's paying for the lashes? Tell me. Nails. Coming to school. My understanding is to get the full set. Yeah, someone in a comment tell me if I'm right or wrong. A full, that's like £35. Now listen, whatever you want to do on a holiday or a weekend or blah, 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 blah. But as far as I know, how I was raised in a traditional Caribbean home, when I go back to Jamaica and I go to the schools, I go to the top schools, I go to the church schools, yeah, I go to, we were just speaking about Immaculate on, what I ruin the name again? It will come to me, I'm getting old. Yeah? When you go to Arden, when you go to the top schools, I'm leaving out, I know my cousin's going to cuss me, the ones you're not seeing girls doing those things in Jamaica. You're not seeing it. It's madness. Campion. Yeah? Campion. You're not seeing that at Thank You. You're not seeing that at Campion. You're not seeing that at Immaculate. You're not seeing that at Arden. And I'm naming the top schools. You're not seeing that, full stop. Okay, listen, it's champs, yeah? It's the national championship for schools in Jamaica. Issa Champs. I was there 2 years ago. If you get the opportunity, please go and watch Issa Champs. Yeah? Go and watch it. You're not seeing girls, yeah? I'm seeing girls in hairstyles. Yeah? Black girls in hairstyles. Black Caribbean girls in hairstyles. No, who has ordained and signed this off to come to school? If you're going to a wedding, if you're going for a grandma's 80th birthday, come to school. When was this part of our culture? Because this is what it is. Unlike most, I go home. And I see, as an educator, I connect with education. I connect. This ain't happening. So how are we adding this up? Most teachers don't know the difference between an African and a Caribbean child. You think they bloody know the difference? Do you really think they know the difference? They don't. I'm telling you, they don't. Yeah. Few and far between can break down the difference between a Nigerian name, a Ghanaian name, and an Angolan, and a Jamaican. They unless they're genuinely really interested, they probably don't care. They're just trying to get through their lesson plans and mark and what have you. So this idea of racism, but adultification. All right, I'm going to tell you something quite personal, yeah? I get the bus. I still get the bus. I get the bus. Depending on what site I'm at, I will get the bus. I get on the bus in Brixton. I either get on the 2 196 or the 432. Yeah. Any three of those buses, depending on the direction I'm going in for that day. Yeah. And I stand at the bus stop, and I sit down and I watch, and I see there are girls. Yeah. And because I'm a teacher, I can tell they're school children. But if a girl has a coat done up, she's wearing like they won't be wearing a school bag, it'll be like a handbag, like a bucket type, the Louis Vuitton type bucket bag. So it's got their school books in it, She's wearing tights and shoes, and like she's got on the weave, the nails, the this, that, and the other, I'm gonna answer that question. The average person probably wouldn't be able to tell the age of this girl, They'd probably think she looks like she's on her way to work. She looks like she's on her way to work. And what tricks is the hair? If I see a girl like in just that neatly put up kind of 2 buns or hair slicked back or so on and so, but when she has on, I don't want to use the wrong terminology. Wig, weave, I don't know what it is. Something that I would assume costs a lot of money, and an adult woman who works would have to be able to pay for this. An adult woman who has worked pays for this type of hairstyle because I assume it's expensive. That kind of that must be a woman who works on her way to work. We talk about adultification, and I'm not here saying it doesn't exist, but we can't talk about adultification on this hand, but on this hand, we allow our children, get it right, our children to dress and go to school in a certain way. I've been asked, do you talk to any fathers about these girls? No. No. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. No. From culturally, 9 times out of 10, if we're speaking about black children, the vast majority of the children who come to more education, mum deals with education. Dad will only come down when there's a massive issue. However, I have never had this conversation with a man, with a father. And I think it's interesting you say that, because I would like to, and I would like to hear as a man the views and viewpoints of a father whose daughter, and I have a daughter that's just not her style. Lashes, nails, hair, all of this stuff, because I'm looking at all of this put up, all of this garb is close to £200, and I'm probably being very conservative in my estimate. Probably somebody can correct me in the chat how much a full set of nails are, eyelashes are, and a full head, I don't know, of a wig or weave, or I don't know where it is, because I've never been privy to how that hair works. But I think it's almost insulting. Eyelashes £70. Thank you very much. Eyelashes 70, but yeah. Who's paying for this? Like, I'm amazed, because the only people who could be paying for this are the parents. I hear you. Thank you very much. Social media is raising this generation, unfortunately. Yes, but who is paying for this? Like, when I was a kid, there were things that I wanted. That television, like I wanted the Scalextrics that goes round and round, because they used to advertise it time and time and time again in the children's shows. But my parents didn't have the money to buy it. They didn't have the money. They didn't have the money. They didn't have the money. I'm seeing, and I'm going to be specific, black Caribbean girls, black Caribbean girls coming to school with and makeup, and like the makeup. And the reason why I want to differentiate, as I stated earlier, the difference between, or what I would refer to as black British and black Caribbean, a distinct difference, is because I was having a conversation with a senior member. We were at lunch and we're sitting at the table, and one of the students two students kind of cheekily kind of budged up to listen to what we were saying. And one of the children, I know full stop. I know her mum. I know she's Jamaican. And I said to her, I looked at her, I said, listen, you know what? I looked at her, I said, you know what I'm going to say. I look at her and say, you know what I'm going to say now? Talk to your friend. And she said, I know what you're going to say, sir. Stay out of big people's business. And she said, yes. And her and her friend. Now, I knew her friend, who was also what I would deem as a black British girl, maybe second or third generation, wouldn't quite understand that concept. I didn't even need to say it to the Jamaican girl, to the Caribbean girl, because she knows. She knows. Full stop. She knows. It says, to be honest, girls do their own hair and lashes these days. Certain places like Peckham can do nails for 15 and 20 pounds. As I said, it's a world that I am completely foreign to. However, when I have asked these girls, they said they get their hair, they do it themselves. Yeah. As a hairstylist, in my humble opinion, men fathers approach me to ask once their daughters ask for the funds to pay for their hair, bearing in mind this isn't for the hair to be installed. So as a hairstylist, in my humble opinion, fathers approach me. If we, so this is a hairstylist. Thank you very much. Thank you for your contributions. If we're saying parents, yeah, and I'm telling you, this is against uniform policy. It's completely against uniform policy. And I don't see, the thing is, I see children from other cultures glam up, but not for school. So I may get a child come to me and say, oh, sir, it was my sister's wedding. Like over the weekend. This is what and they're glammed up. You can see they are glammed up for the Asian weddings, for the Turkish weddings, for the Irish weddings. Yo, the girls glam up. They glam up. And you're like, you look and say, oh, rah, you with me? Oh, like, you all look lovely. Did you have a nice time? Such and such and such and such. You with me? But when those girls come to school on a Monday, they don't look like that. And it's all been taken off. It's all been taken off. However, the problem we're having, and I'm going to add, and the African girls as well. Same thing again, wedding on the weekend, rap, this, that, and the other. Why aren't schools enforcing stricter policies at school? I'm going to tell you why schools, because they're scared. Because they are scared. Because they are bloody petrified. Because they are petrified. And when they enforce the strict, when they enforce the strict uniform policies, and then what happens is, and I'm not condoning this if you know anything about my work, but this is, I'm on the coalface, yeah? When the reason you're doing it is the same words and tropes that I saw in the comments. Racism, discrimination, adultification, blah, 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 blah. I went through the comments, I was watching, bang, 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 bang. Go and look back at the comments. At no point, I think there were a handful of comments, they didn't get many likes, with man saying, hold on. Like, okay, let's look at this in a bit more detail. Yeah? Let's look at this in a bit more detail. So I repeat, all of those other races of children, of girls, yeah? All of the other, they know how to get glammed up. Somebody said earlier, yeah, they do it on YouTube. Yes, they do. Because even little girls like to, I don't know, like look in the mirror, dress up as mummy, makeup, whatever. That's not what I'm shunning, It's not what I'm saying. As I said, I see they'll come and say to me, sir, remember my sister, you taught her she's now married. This was the wedding, blah, 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 blah. They glam up, but they don't come to school with that. And then this is the kicker. When you tell them, yo, take off that. It's a, yo, the uniform policy's there. The uniform policy. How can you resist it? You want to cuss? We call parents. Oh, why can't you just let them in? Because it's against the uniform policy. And the girls who will come to school on that are what have been deemed as, and I'm very specific, Black Caribbean girls that were identified in this article. And as I said earlier, I refute that title. And the reason I refute that title is because most of those children have very little understanding or connection to traditional Caribbean culture and values. You couldn't transport one of those children, into a school in the Caribbean and them survive, because they're not. They are not. They do not hold those values. They don't. And I think we need to stop lying. We need to stop lying. Because the fact that people did not see the red herring there was, if it's racism, why aren't the Black African girls also being excluded? Why are they not being excluded at the same rate? I saw somebody say, and this was troubling. Like, I'm not quoting verbatim. I should have maybe taken it as a quote. I apologize if I fluff up your quote, but it was in essence, we raise our daughters to kind of speak their minds and articulate themselves in a certain way, and and they were right in one thing. They said, it's saying primary school is something that is praised and lauded upon. Black girls do really well at primary school, but how it's sometimes inverted at secondary school, is problematic. I have seen it and I've had to defend it. However, that was before. You see, now, let me just end on this point. I remember when my older brother got an earring. My older brother got an earring, and when he came through the door, he used to take it off. He'd take it off, and because there's no way my dad could see that. Like, that's not happening. That's not happening. It's not happening. It's not happening. Because it's not something that was culturally aligned with us. The same reason I personally don't have a tattoo. I don't have any markings, because it's not something that is coming from a traditional. It's not something that's culturally aligned. I appreciate things change, but those same parents see their picnic come through the door with lash, because you can't take them off. I've seen you can't take them off with the hair, with the nails. Oftentimes, you have parents, as somebody said, paying for, parents, dads, paying for their daughters to go and get this stuff. Mums, let's go and get it together, knowing you got school on a Monday. Wild. So if your dad, as Soul Mrs. Emma said, has paid, you're gonna have to give me the figures, because one person said 150, another person said 20. So I don't know how much you charge. But if your dad has paid for this, hairstyle, which goes against school policy, and we're saying you can't come in, your dad's paid for your lashes, or your dad's paid for your nails, and we have to say you have to take them off, you're gonna kick up because it's being endorsed by the parents. If you two have gone together to get your nails done, and it's being endorsed by the parents, but nobody wants to tell the truth. I saw the comments, and I'll probably get some unfollows for this, because this isn't what anybody was expecting. What was expected was the same tropes over and over again. Racism, it's racism the reason why our girls are being excluded. Why have the numbers jumped in the last 3 years? Why? Like, why don't we forensically study it instead of continually saying the same things over and over and over again? It's boring. It's tiring. It's boring. I don't think if you covered it, but how... I haven't made it. I haven't. I did some. Thank you. Someone was in a comment. I've been talking about parent governors for 2 years. Yeah, handful of people. I said it on a live previously, and I'm saying it again. The reality is, the reality is, and I look at my metrics. You see that post there? Anything? If I look at all of my posts, anything that relates to race or discrimination, they pop. Oh yeah. They love it. I get loads. Even today, I've got 30 people in the live today. Thank you all very much for coming. You see, if I was to do a live on how to support your child in secondary school, if I was to do a live on, I don't know, the 70 other lives I've done, go back and look at them. I get Auntie Estella, who's always here. I get a handful of people, so blessed. Some of Just Gomez. There's a handful of you who are always here. You with me, love you. When you can. People are regulars, but no, I don't care. A lady who just joined now, Reloved 101, a regular. Nobody doesn't care. Not interested in that. But anything that makes us feel as if, oh no, they're against us. We have to talk about this. We've spoken about it bare times and we know the truth. We've spoken about it bare times. So many, and we actually know what the solution is. And I come back to the same solution over and over again. Over and over and over again. I've said this. If you're tired of discrimination, yeah. I do have a YouTube channel. We're setting it up. It will be out soon. Where we've got all of our lives on our YouTube. Yeah. I say this time and time again. Thank you very much. Say it time and time again. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I live in Tottenham. I live in the N17 part. If you go south from Tottenham, you get to an area called Stamford Hill. There is a strong Hasidic Jewish community there between N16 and E5. Check how many schools that community has of their own. Not only do they have schools, yeah. Currently, if you go to that area, you'll see private security. Yeah, people in high vis just walking around the area. Because of the current political and historical conflicts. I won't go into that, yeah? Someone says, place yourself in these institutions. Arguably, that's always been our strategy, but it hasn't seemed to work very well. We're not on that. We're not. I was told the other day that private security, so they have their own schools and they have their own private security that go around their neighborhoods. Those brothers are armed, I've been told, yeah? Those people are armed, I've been told, by a credible political source. Yeah? Anything we want to do, we could do it. We do have the resources in our community to do it. But do we really care enough? We love a good controversy. We love a good Facebook argument. We love a good comment. Yeah? Do we really care about action? I'll continue to do what I do. I was speaking to my colleague today. Yeah, I will always continue to do what I do. Somebody said about making a difference. Yeah. Hopefully I'll make a difference, but I'm doing it because it's right. Because I know it's the right thing to do. Not because for any seek of fame or anything like that. Hopefully I'll be famous. You never know. But I don't think I have the face for it. But it's because I know what is right. And I do what I believe to be the right thing. Not for any other reason, because that's simply how it goes. Yeah? So, I've gone way over. I didn't have any of my assistants today. I've been abandoned, hence why I've gone over on a rant. And this may not have been what you expected to hear from me. This may not have been what you expected to hear about the article, why 30 people have joined us this evening, and thank you so much. You probably expected to hear something very different. You probably expected me to hear about bun the system. You probably expected me to hear about racism, adultification, the horrible people in the system. Let me get this straight. There's very few educators who have taken the licks that I've taken for our youths. Me take licks, you know. Kids can come on and say, nah, Mr. Moore fronted that. You with me? Mr. Moore's confronted teachers stone cold. Yes, don't. Mr. Moore gave us a safe space where people knew they couldn't violate. Do you know what that's like in a school? Where you make it clear the kids can come in and you can't. And when you're an early teacher and a member of senior management comes and knocks on your door to come and see what I want, and you stand guard him at the door and open up your chest and say, yes, sir, how can I help you? Like a flipping security guard, and make him know what time it is. And the kids see that. The kids know what time it is, and he knows what time it is, and you know what time it is. And unless he's going to barge past you, which he's not going to be able to do to me, you can't violate no kids. That's why I feel I have license to tell the truth. That's all it is. It says, as a governor, I'm happy to challenge a school and challenge our parents are checking their children leaving school. Are you show outside school gates to check? Yes. Okay. Thank you very much. Please make the effort, like, share, comment, this, that, and the other. I'm sure we'll get some comments underneath this, but let's be honest. Like, certain people are sending their kids to school, yeah, and it's wild. It's wild. I don't know what my predicted GCSE grades is because I didn't do my mock. The reason I didn't do my mock is because I had on my lashes. I'll leave you with that. I didn't do my mock because I had on my lashes. And I know business. Those are the children. That's the conversation. Those are the type of conversations that are happening. Have a lovely evening, everybody. Hope you do something lovely and productive with your children over the half term. Something that they can remember for years and years and years. Take care.